the United States.
Boy, I got a great idea, or at least my brother Fred Imus down in El Paso, Texas, had a great idea. He had an infant. He's having an infant. Autobody.
You got with us 11 tonight or 7?
11 tonight.
11 tonight for Packer. Make sure you listen to that.
Yep.
Rangers and the Whalers a little bit later on, and of course your play-by-play following that.
I'm in play-by-play, I think, next month in a row.
And in 30 days, Mike at the Garden. We'll see you tomorrow following Mets LA. Enjoy the NCAA. We'll see you after the game. Bye.
Boston Globe, there is a column by Alex Beam, and he thinks, how many people think that you guys are here as legitimate, genuine sycophants and providing a human laugh track? I mean, does it, I don't know, what do you think I'm in?
The way you said that was interesting.
Could you guys shut up for a second?
Shut up, boss. Never talking again.
No, not me.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
This is the greatest morning radio show in this country, period.
Exclamation
Don't
point.
you guys think? Absolutely.
That's all right, man. That's what you think. You to me.
I mean, is that, are we doing something here that nobody gets?
That's an excellent question.
And a funny one, too.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good evening. At 6 o'clock, this is Iron Eagle. Our temperature 33 degrees, clear skies, and that's what's happening. This is Iron Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home for March Madness.
Sports Radio 66
Whichever you prefer. Good afternoon or good evening. Bill Daughtry with you on the Fan at 718-937-6666. Taking you up until Rangers hockey time. The pregame show tonight at 7:05. Rangers, they go against Hartford here on the Fan and geographically at Madison Square Garden. Rangers, of course, down a couple of players. You swing stick, you sit for the rest of March, and guys like Hard Marchand will get a chance to show what they can do with the big. Well, that was a whirlwind 55 minutes or so. Rangers coming up. After the game, we'll chat with Mike Dean. He's the head coach of Siena. They beat Georgia Tech. That was in the opening round of the NIT. And we understand Tanya Harding. She struck a plea bargain with authorities and resigned from the U.S. Figure Skating Association. That being reported by NBC. If it's true, then Tanya won't be going to Japan to compete in the World Championships. Bill Daughtry back after the Rangers and Hartford on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
The GMC. To welcome John Cardinal O'Connor with the New York Lotto numbers. Good morning, Cardinal O'Connor.
Good morning, God bless. Oh, me name is Mac McClarty. Clinton's going to the can. A great day, Mr. Marr. Lovely, wonderful day, be Jesus.
Well,
Let's see why.
thought there might be a little more to that song, Cardinal, but it's not.
Hopefully there's not too much more left of your life, I tell you that, you schmuck.
I don't think you mean that.
Great day, Mr. Lamar. That fat-legged, Bucky Beaver-looking weasel in the White House, and her husband soon to be impeached and in prison. Animosity between the blacks and the big-leafing Jews at an all-time high. And best of all, Mr. Lamar, no fudge packers bollocking out today's parade with their filthy behavior, be Jesus.
That will be fine. I don't think we need to get into all
He's
of that.
not here in New York. The only things getting blown today on Fifth Avenue would be the bagpipes, God bless us.
That'll be enough.
You know, skinny HIV groups tongue-kissing each other in front of their children.
We just don't need. Damn.
Staring at Monsignor Sweeney's weenie.
Just shut up. Stop it. God, just shut up.
Ogling poor Father McNichols' pickle, if you know what I mean, be Jesus.
That will be fine with his pickle.
Will you be marching today, Mr. Lamar?
Well, no, I won't be marching today.
Of course not. Many of your friends will be there, be Jesus. I do see I'll haul up and kick you square in the nuts with my size 11 boots, I will.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Penis-licking schmuck you.
Well, wait a minute here.
The Daily Number.
No, Cardinal O'Connor.
The Daily Number.
We've gone way too far. Time out. Time out. What's the matter with you?
McCord.
Don't blame this on McCord.
to me, Cardinal.
McCord, you're invited for some green beers with Monsignors and myself over at the cathedral.
Oh, that's very nice.
He wants the quiet man.
Yeah.
Then we'll head down to Greenwich Village to punch out some Jewish fags, be Jesus. What do you say, Murray? What do you say, McCord?
That will be, he's not interested in that, and no one is.
That's the day you lick the eye man's boots, you stupid lackey, be Jesus. The win for number.
What, let's do that.
7477.
7477. All right.
And a more somber note, hey, Mr. Marn.
A somber note, all right.
Somber note, be Jesus.
All right.
The parade in Boston cancelled.
Yes.
Thanks to some ugly lesbians and homos.
That will be fine.
And a ruling by the Supreme Court Justice David Souter. Tell you what, hey, Mr. Marn, I wouldn't be surprised if someone pulled up Justice Souter's robe and found Macaulay Culkin or some other damn 10-year-old under there.
Get out of here.
Bobbing for apples, if you know what I mean.
Shut up.
I think Judge Souter would buy a bag of dirty Boy Scout underwear.
Just leave Judge Souter out of all of this.
Maybe you could sell him a bag of one of yours, eh, Mr. Marn?
Well,
So Clarence Thomas jacks his monkey herself, I'll tell you that.
that will be fine.
The pick 10 numbers is as follows. If you're Imus, get out of me parlor. There's no welcome there for you. Dirtbag.
Where are the numbers?
Let's get this, eh, Mr. Marn.
Okay.
How can you always pick out the Irishman in the hospital ward?
I don't know.
He's the one blowing the suds off of the bedpan.
You know, that'll be enough. Listen, get the bomb ready, Lou. This is about the end of this.
Oh, Donny boy, your face looks like a piece of shit.
No, come on.
Oh, Donny boy, you lame two-legged.
It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock here in New York. And that's the final appearance of Cardinal O'Connor on this program. Yeah, that's his final appearance. Tell me the judgment of a nitwit. God. Anyway, what's going on? I don't know. It's going to take a moment for me to recover. No. In a surprise move I man, Tanya Hunt. A lot of movies. And this thing is from Touchstone Pictures. I don't know. No wonder. There's a column by Alex Beam. And he thinks, how many people think that you guys are here as legitimate, genuine sycophants and providing a human laugh track? I mean, does it... I don't know. What do you think I'm in?
The way you said that was interesting.
Could you guys shut up for a second?
Shut up, boss. Never talk again.
No, not me.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
This is the greatest morning radio show in this country, period.
Exclamation
Don't
point.
you guys think? Absolutely.
That's all right, man. You to me.
I mean, is that, are we doing something here that nobody gets? That's an excellent question.
And a funny one, too.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Writing the Clinton White House lineup sheet again. Andy?
I don't know about you, but I wish I'd invested in the eraser company stock. As many times as I've had to change this thing. It's a difficult time for essayists. There's a 50-50 shot that whatever we write this morning will be relegated to the scrap heap of history by tonight, as people catapult out of the White House like some human cannonball act gone mad. Let me understand this. Hillary couldn't handle the equivalent of a house closing on some two-bit Arkansas river bottom land deal, and she's reconfiguring this nation's health care apparatus? Ye gods. Move over, Vince. I need to lie down, too.
That'll be enough.
I like Hillary and her husband, and this may seem harsh, but looking at everything that's happened around old 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, are you beginning to wonder whether the Peter Principle might have some application here? Perhaps where Mr. Clinton is concerned, there might be a better way to broach the question of competence other than Peter Principle.
I think so.
Anyway, look for just a moment at some of the FOBs and FOHs who are now DOAs because of those SOBs. Friends of Bill and Hillary, who probably would just as soon they'd never heard of them. Wow, they go pretty far back. This is Zoe Baird. Remember her? Attorney General designate about 100 million years ago, it seems. And the first to bring us Maidgate. And here's Kimba Wood. Aye, Your Honor. Maidgate the sequel, remember? Yeah. And here's the little gal who finally won the competition, Attorney General Janet Reno. I see it wasn't a beauty pageant. That's gratuitous, and I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's just say that when she gets blown out of there, and she will, that there'll be no shortage of alligators for her to wrestle. No. I feel sorry for her. The way people are disappearing around the Justice Department, she must think she's in a Twilight Zone episode. When Webb Hubble was put to the torch the other day, Ms. Reno, bless her heart, made one of those rambling statements, as they say. Yeah. But then she didn't exactly come to Washington stamped Intel inside in the first place, did she? Yes. Well, let's proceed. Good. Here's Lonnie Guinier. Remember? Nominated to and dynamited from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division because folks kept getting her writings and Khalid Abdul Muhammad's confused. Let's see. Oh, my. Here's White House Deputy Counsel Vincent Foster.
Andy.
Well, no comment. Yeah. For me or him, as I think about it.
Shut up.
Hey, darn near missed one. Bobby Ray, Jean Clyde, Texas Tower Inman. Oh, would you even blink if they found this one-time Pentagon poobah atop a tower picking off passers-by with a Weatherby 308?
No.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Here's Bernie Nussbaum, who's added to his resume, was White House counsel, served as liaison between Oval Office and Resolution Trust Corporation, brought Zoe and Kimba to prominence, now will work for whiplash claims. And here's the latest to that White House bungee jump thing. Webb, I got trouble, Hubble.
Yeah.
Third from the top at Justice. It's clear why he's going back to Arkansas. To eat. He said he had to resign because of distractions from back in Little Rock.
Yeah.
What, Webb? Visions of moon pies kept dancing in your head? Well, sure, times are tough right now around Phil Hill. But not to worry, dear reader, until the day Paul Begala steps to the podium in the briefing room and announces, through the offices of Trade Representative Mickey Cantor, of course, that because of irreconcilable differences, the President and Mrs. Clinton have just, with great heaviness of heart, accepted the resignation of Chelsea.
Andy Rooney here on the Imus in the Morning program. And coming up here in this minute or so, we'll talk with Senator John Kerry from the state of Massachusetts, representing that fine state in the United States Senate. And if Bernard has said to me once, he said to me twice, or 1,000 times, the senator doesn't want to talk about Whitewater, he wants to talk about crime. Well, I said, fine. Does that mean we can't talk about Whitewater at all?
You know, we can, you can broach the subject.
Oh, okay.
We have some opinions on it.
Well, yeah.
This is Iron Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home for March Madness.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Okay, back on the fan as Wisconsin has thrown off the second half with 2 big baskets. And now they lead the California Golden Bears by 13 as they have played a minute in the second half. Wisconsin, Green Bay, a big surprise from Green Bay, Wisconsin against the Cowboy Club that has really struggled offensively all day long. And obviously the folks in the FAM pool pick Wisconsin, Green Bay, 14. Those were outstanding. Mike and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, take you through the afternoon of the NCAA. Enjoy the games tonight on a Thursday. Adios.
WFAN New York.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Bill Daughtry.
Are you still there? Hello?
No,
What was that?
feelings are hurt.
Feelings are hurt. She's been pummeled. What a nut job. I know what a foe is. Senator Bernadette Castro. 5 minutes in the morning news time, 13 minutes after 7 o'clock here in New York. What's going on? Go to the movies. So I said, let's go see The Ref with Judy Davis. All right. Joel Siegel here says, it's grown up, lose your breath, hurt your sides, funny. He's a fat lion pennyweight.
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Jesus, this was
What
the
happened?
worst thing I have ever seen anybody do in any media.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So here to explain all of that is Joel Siegel. Good morning, Mr. Siegel.
I'm not fat. You
Well, no, I know.
wake up this morning and the first words I hear from my radio are, that fat pansy Joel Siegel, how could he like this? Fred turned to me and said, you're not fat. I do have a piece of advice, though. Don't go see Schindler's List.
Why?
Because I saw you on the Letterman show, and if you go see Schindler's List, people in the audience will come up crying, asking you for your autograph.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
And Highway Patrol.
all the time.
I leave it there sometimes, but not this time. So I told them if it pops up to let me know. I called a few people who were at the party, but they were no help either. I was starting to get desperate. I really don't like being without my penis for too long. It makes me feel like less of a man, and I really hate having to sit down every time I take a leak. After a few hours of searching the house and calling everyone I could think of, I was starting to get very depressed, so I went to the Kiev and ate breakfast. Then as I walked down 2nd Avenue towards St. Mark's Place, where all those people sell used books and other junk on the street, I saw my penis lying on a blanket next to a broken toaster oven. Some guy was selling it. I had to buy it off him. He wanted $22, but I talked him down to 17. I took it home, washed it off, and put it back on. I was happy again. Complete. People sometimes tell me I should get it permanently attached, but I don't know. Even though sometimes it's a pain in the ass, I like having a detachable penis.
I woke up this morning, put my radio on, and my Imus was missing again. This happens all the time. He's detestable. He likes to yell and scream at people until they're ready to cry or kill themselves or seek counseling. This comes in handy a lot of the time, like when they threaten to take the local stations off the Connecticut cable, or when some larger-than-life public figure gets too big for his britches and then tries to suck up to the I-Man for retribution and gain back his popularity. I like that. I also like when he talks about how much juice he has, or how everybody's fat and not getting it done, and how sick he is all the time because all he ever does is run, lift weights, and eat broccoli, and how much the women's love him, and how he has nowhere to go on Thanksgiving. I called a few people to see if they knew where he went, but no luck. They weren't home, and they didn't have their answering machines on. And besides, I think they listened to WBAI instead. I was starting to get desperate. I really don't like being without my Imus for too long. It makes me feel a lot more relaxed and good about myself. And I really hate having to go through an entire day without someone telling me how fat and stupid I am. After a few hours of searching the house and calling everyone I could think of, I was starting to get very depressed, so I went to Casa Miguel to get a lip lock on a chimichanga. And right outside the restaurant, I saw my Imus lying on one of those mattresses from that price where you call and they'll deliver it right to your house 2 hours later. He was just sitting there in an Auto Body Express El Paso, Texas t-shirt next to a Vermont teddy bear and an empty bottle of Buckler. He made me buy the shirt off him. He wanted $22, but I got him down to $18.95, including shipping and handling. I took it home, washed it, and put it on. He said I looked fat and stupid in it. I was happy again. Complete. People sometimes tell me I'm a little too attached, but I don't know. Even though most times he's a pain in the ass, I kind of like that detestable Imus.
Money and murder from your bitch. Run up money from the crack. Death is a fact. Murder is a hot murder. Murder is a hot murder. Murder is a hot that I have since way back. This is the way I live. Pain and torture. Believe in life. Sex, money, and Imus in the morning.
Right. Yeah, anything like that?
Well, they got the score right, though. And they did a fine job.
Well, okay. I don't know what's going on here.
UConn won. They beat a tough Rider team. Providence. Rob is calling from Long Beach. Good morning, Rob. Yes, Rob. Rob has fallen asleep listening to the program like most people. If you have, and this gives us an opportunity as a public service, if you have insomnia, please tune to 66 on your AM radio dial, and we will take care of that insomnia problem that you have here is living.
What you're telling me is this guy calls in to talk to Steve.
He's lying in bed with the phone by him.
Right, and he's on hold so long.
Sound asleep.
That he falls asleep.
But Steve later on is trying to talk to him, and you hear the guy going, Absolutely sound asleep.
magic of sports radio.
Ah, yes. It just doesn't get any worse than this. We'll wrap this up. We got Walter Cronkite coming up here.
That's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
All right, here now, Media Watch, a digital examination of the seat of American journalism with the Dean of Broadcast Journalists, Walter Cronkite.
And so we stand at the threshold of another era gone. After 37 years, my old colleague, Charles Kuralt, is turning his famed on-the-road RV toward the signpost that says, dog track 4 miles that way. Fat, bald, befuddled, but never having lost his fine sense of irksome pretension, it seemed Charlie might never leave. But indeed, for everything there is a season, and the greyhounds are barking in Florida. CBS anchorman Dan Rather, clearly wishing he were talking about the China woman sitting next to him, announced Kuralt's retirement on the CBS Evening News. An awful blow to the company, according to network president Howard Stringer. And how well he should know, as the only more damaging blow at CBS was when Mr. Stringer became the president in the first place. Kuralt, who reports his age at 59, joined CBS as a news writer in 1957, and 2 years later became its youngest correspondent at age 25. But it was his celebrated on-the-road features that brought him fame and gave CBS a special bond with everyday America. As Charlie prowled the back roads of the land, giving a half hour of prime-time television to anybody with a clay pipe or a jug band whose mother was his sister once removed. Now he says he wants to explore other side roads of life while his spirits and health are still good, making this revered old journalist wonder if the bastard owns a mirror or a bathroom scale. He also will write a book, he says, about the 12 favorite places he ever found during all those years on the road. 4 bathhouses in the city by the bay, 2 in Las Vegas, 3 each in Boston, Massachusetts, and New York City. Charlie's final appearance on the ultra-affected CBS Sunday Morning will occur Easter Sunday, April 3rd. Just pray, please, that he doesn't somehow surface again 3 days later. Because, in the opinion of this hard-bitten, no-nonsense old reporter, one more review by that sniveling twit John Leonard, or the windbag in the overhaul sucking on a straw in the middle of a Kansas wheat field, lamenting the loss of topsoil, and I'm going to apply for an inner circle position in the Clinton White House. The sooner Spotted Owls and Charles Kuralt are both extinct, the better I'm going to like it. Mr. Stringer says replacing Charles will be a daunting task. News Division Chief Eric Oper agrees it will be almost impossible to find someone who brings Kuralt's special sensitivities to Sunday morning. Difficult indeed, as the only person I could imagine who might fill the bill would be a composite figure. The blend of Tommy Toon, Tom Bodette, Jerry Brown, Orson Welles, and Broderick Crawford. Flittiness, wittiness, irrelevance, and elements. And underlining the impossibility of replacing Kuralt, the latter two, Welles and Crawford, are, of course, both dead. So Charles Kuralt himself now slides out of the viewfinder. No more film of some old fart-making cigar box fiddles back up Butcher Holler in Kentucky, or Chief Whining Arrow carving cochise on a South Dakota mountaintop to express his Native American rage. Pity. If there's any justice at all, even in retirement, Charles Kuralt will still be on the road. Perhaps old Route 66 out of Tulsa, holding a sign that reads, "Will bore to death for food." For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite saying, one avuncular old wordsmith is quite enough. Thank you and good night.
The nitwit from El Paso, my brother Fred Imus, coming up here in just a little while. Here's Lefty.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed neath the town hall light. Radio 66 WFAN.
All right, 406, Mike and the Mad Dog on the fan, and we'll get back to all the games, all the stuff going on. Close games across the country. Even UCLA cut it down to 12 against Tulsa.
5 o'clock, Mink's got the flash. We're coming back.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
So, Bob, you're...
Got to win one time. By luck, you got to win one time.
If Ernie Banks is on bad teams forever, well, that's
Not
the
on his
breaks.
fault.
That's
Right.
the breaks.
All right, good job out of Luna Shepard and Bob Gelb. Don't forget Ian and Bernard King. And Dickie Weiss coming up at 6 with all the hoops. Mink's here at the top. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Mike and me, of course, Monday at 1. Enjoy your weekend on the Fan of Rooney. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Tonight on the fan, it's the Rangers and Chicago Blackhawks from Madison Square Garden. And your current Central Park temperature is 30 degrees. It continues to snow lightly. That's what's happening. This is John Minko at 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home for March Madness.
Cohen interviewed them and thought something of them and found out much later on that what I thought was very, very far from the truth. We'll be right back. March Madness really does. At 718-937-6666, your phone calls next. Richard Neer, I'll be back again tomorrow, if I'm not on the other side of the flash, at 9 a.m. And we'll certainly have a lot to talk about. Knicks, Celtics, and the Orangemen, and Wisconsin, Green Bay a little bit later on. Vince DeLisi with a flash, thanks to Mike Hayes and Heather. And the radio home for March Madness. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Christopher Russo stuck in traffic in Queens. So here's Richard Neer. Thank you, Dawn. Now, for those of you who said, now, wait a minute, if he's stuck in traffic in Queens, how did we get him to come on? That was one of the best Russos I've ever heard! I mean, come on! That was Cohen. That was Cohen. It was great. Steve Cohen. Actually, what's going on is the funeral for the city policeman who was shot the other day is happening in Queens now. And Richard Neer. Good job for Richard Neer sticking through at 718-937-6666. Two-way sports talk telephone number on a Saturday morning here in New York, where obviously the terrible situation here in Queens as far as the police officer is concerned, and throwing 25 minutes because the dopes to Deacon can't figure out when they're going to fix the roads right, and somehow it goes from 3 lanes to 1 on Fordham Road, and that's a half hour there. Next thing you know, I'm getting frustrated because I'm late. I want to do a radio program, but it's good to be here anyway, and nice to have you aboard as we talk about the world of sports. I know we're sort of catching you in midstream, and I heard all the calls with Richard in Pittsburgh, so I guess maybe that was Healy's little test. Good hour. We got more to do on a fan until Knicks Celtics coming back at 12, so don't go away. Sports on WFAN, the radio home for March Madness. Back on a fan hour 2 of our radio program. Good to have you with us. 718-937-6666. Two-way sports talk telephone numbers. We talked about the world of sports. You got the NCAA tournament today. Purdue and Alabama will be the only game early, and that's a strange scheduling situation out of CBS, because if that Purdue-Alabama game gets blown out of the top first 20 minutes or so, you have nothing to watch until 2:25, because the second 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So there are matchups today that you can get no points out of whatsoever. For instance, UAB, Connecticut, St. Louis, UMass, Cincinnati, Missouri, that kind of stuff. Coming back after Iron Splash stops. Don't go away. Sports. This is Iron Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home of March Madness. back on the fan. Nice guy to with us. Hour 3, busy show. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Lula Shepard, of course, takes over. Hello there, Lula, with Sam Rosen just giving us some thoughts on the Rangers. I'll have Jim O'Brien here sometime next half hour or so. BC, North Carolina tomorrow. The Purdue-Alabama game is about to start. That's the first game. That's the only game you're going to get first 2.5 hours, which is an awful job by CBS if there's a blowout. They give themselves no opportunity.
This is Bob Usler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home for March Madness.
See with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness. We're back on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN. I feel like we never left since yesterday at 10:15. Richard Neer till 11:30 today. And then we've got basketball, don't we?
That's right.
Exciting basketball. We've got the Charlotte Hornets playing today, don't we?
In Seattle.
And they are playing the Seattle Supersonics.
And we've got NCAA for the rest of the day.
Yeah, lots of hoops action on Saturday. Yeah, exciting. That's why I'm in a mood to talk baseball, because you know what? Today is the first day of spring. I think it's 3:25 this afternoon or something like that. This question, but here's a guy trying to do his job. Let me answer it. That's all. You know, it all has to do with attitude. And Susan's feeling, a lot of other sports reporters feeling, basketball has it over baseball. Coming up, Ed Coleman on the Mets. You stay with us. Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. And that's what's happening. I'm Vince DeLisi with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness. Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN, and we're back on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN. Richard Neer talking sports with you until 11:30 today, and then we're going to have a pretty good basketball game, Charlotte Hornets against the Seattle Supersonics. And then we'll join the NCAA's in progress and give you NCAA March Madness through the rest of the afternoon. So good stuff coming up on the Fan, and good stuff right now with my man Eddie Coleman, who joins us to talk some Mets baseball. A little bit later on in the hour, we'll be replaying Eddie's interview with Glenn Davis. And
I'm sitting here wondering how some waste of protoplasm like Kurt Cobain pulls through, but somebody like John Candy has done before his time. For me, it's always been one of life's most elusive mysteries, the imbalance of fairness, the cosmic doling out of what is right and just. Somewhere in a one-room, cold-water tenement with peeling walls and a bare light bulb, there's a brilliant yet unpublished author who truly is writing the great American novel. But 3 months after he commits suicide and they finally find his rotting corpse, the manuscript gets tossed in the trash, while simultaneously it's announced that Kinky Friedman wins the Pulitzer Prize for Literature. There is no God. I'm sure that's what Delbert McClinton must be thinking. Out of all the DJs and all the stations and all the towns, why does my #1 fan have to be some scrimshaw stick figure in an Auto Body Express denim work shirt? Ed Sullivan brought the Beatles to the world, providing them with the opportunity to change musical history. But so far, old Delbert has gotten from you as a gig as the Muzak on Fred's answering machine. I'm sure he appreciates your desire to help him break out as the next big thing, but I'm almost positive he'd prefer you didn't do it by playing the same 3 songs of his 50 times a day. First of all, he's already a big deal. He doesn't need Skeletor's stunt double to convince people about that. But it really sounds stupid when a 53-year-old guy gets all gushy like a teeny bopper over some pop star. I know he strikes some spiritual chord in you somewhere, like your kindred spirit with the outlaw rebel raised around bar rooms and Friday night dances. But face it, Fats, you're a millionaire show business icon with a trophy wife, a mansion, and a Rolls. You identifying with the guy crying in his beer about all those dreams he got to remember is like Khalid Muhammad having a catharsis at a screening of Schindler's List. To paraphrase Ringo Starr, got to pay your dues if you want to sing the blues. Why the hell would you have the blues? The blues is a toothless, depressed truck driver whose dog died right after his woman left him and took all his money. What do you have in common with that? What the
do you have to be depressed about? You're living the American dream. Independently wealthy, supremely powerful, supermodel for a fiancé, and every morning some coal miner without a pancreas sitting at the breakfast table in his trailer with his fat flesh-colored tabula rasa for an old lady and listens to you bitch about your life on the radio. He's the one who should be singing the f***ing blues.
Let's go live now to Paso, Texas with my brother Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning. I don't have any patience to make it quick.
Why don't you have any patience?
You are. That's how you are. Can't tell you anything. You have no patience.
Well,
Kind of mishap with the dog on the trip.
I don't want to hear about it. If we don't want to hear about anything about bowel movements with the dog, just eliminate that from you.
No, it wasn't just a slight mishap.
Well, I don't even want to hear about it.
Your condom slipped off?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Pulls over to go to the bathroom, you know?
Right.
No, come on. The dog on the leash. I'm not paying any attention where he is.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down and I'm going on his head.
Random Imus. Idiot.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Today, and both of them are nitwits. Yeah. Neither one of them have anything to offer, and they're just filling time until the game starts. That's essentially their role. There's just meaningless comments about stupid basketball games that nobody cares about. Segway blather. That segway blather is all it is. You're in a good mood today?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Offers nothing on these broadcasts.
There's zero deal, you know what I mean?
Hey, have a good time. He points at the camera. Hey, have a good time. As the CBS March Madness rolls on. Veronica, you know, I like to roll on, I like the limo to roll over you. So I'd like to roll on. Light rack fall on you. That's exactly it. On camera. Absolutely right. That's a rack of lights crash right into you and Clark Kellogg.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Long Island Savings Bank.
I'm by his book. It's 17 times till 8 now here in New York.
You've got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch. Imus in the morning.
Quicken, Quicken.
New York.
Get the mad dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's like the mad dog on the fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em. Like the mad dog WFAN.
Got a fan on this Monday, second day of spring, believe it or not, March 21st, 1994. Nice to have you aboard. Mike and the Mad Dog with you on a busy day indeed. Met game, last day we needed a 4-hour game. We got one against the Royals, but a lot to talk about until 7. Bob Gelb and Dove Kramer across the way. And good afternoon there, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, Dog. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, and obviously lots going on. But what a hell, come on.
But it's UConn now. And those people up there can cheer, but you know what? The pressure is squarely on UConn's shoulders.
You got it.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Keenan to begin with, Mike. He's got a lot of skeletons in his playoff closet, and he better win some games this playoff run. I'll tell you that right now. Coming back.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN. Hey, having lunch today? Beware of the dog, Mike and the Mad Dog, on Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Now back to Mike and the Mad Dog. A little better.
Seems a little work.
We'll obey with Antonio Mora. Nothing to worry about, I think. She did a good job there, though. That's the lovely Jeannie. Good job out of little Christy from New Rochelle. He's right, keen to join the Rangers. Well, he's got a chance, Mike, he could be a big-time hero in this town if these guys make a difference. Your radio show today is at what time?
11.
With Billy, Lon Kruger, and who else? Tubby Smith?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow at 1. No Mets game, thank goodness. DeLisi coming up at the top of the hour with his update. And boy, I'll tell you, that voice that we heard there before, we got to get that person back. Outstanding. What now?
Well, see who wears the pants in that relationship.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely.
You're coming back?
Not you.
See you tomorrow. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
With 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home for March Madness.
You'd like to read... Welcome to a special edition of Mets Extra on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN. Tonight, we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Mets' 1969 World Championship season. Now, here's your host, Howie Rose.
And welcome to Mets Extra. Today with Imus in Washington's senior political advisor, Richard M. Nixon.
Thank you, and good morning to you, Mr. Imus in the morning. Just flipping through the paper here for a moment, trying to see if anybody is left at the White House who hasn't been subpoenaed. Nope, not a one. God, am I loving this or what? They say you can't compare it to Watergate. Who can't compare it to Watergate? Ain't no stretch for me, let me tell you. And now, as you're well aware, we've got hearings coming up. Shoes on the other foot. How's that you keep putting it, Dono? Some dandruff-laden senator leaning into his microphone and saying, would you like a glass of water, Mrs. Clinton? Would you like to take a short break, Mrs. Clinton? Are you on some kind of medication, Mrs. Clinton? Just what the hell is your problem, Mrs. Clinton? In fact, permit me to make that issue 1, J.D. Whitewater, the TV show. Or Kunta Kinte Revisited. Or the federal government of the United States versus William Jefferson Hillary Nixon. Clinton. I meant Clinton, damn it. Karma, Dono, karma. Remember how they roughed up my boys and voted back there during Watergate? Okay, here's what I'm hoping to see. C-SPAN. We've got a long shot of the witness table, and there's Stephanopoulos in his spotted owl glasses, head buried in his hands, sweating oil drums with, oh, I don't know, Sharon Stone sitting behind him with her hair up in a bun. Where have I seen this picture before? Oh, speaking of the two, did you see the president's second annual children's outing on ABC over the weekend?
Yeah.
I think he's finally found his calling, taking kids' questions. Saturday morning, sandwiched between the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and a Cocoa Puff cereal commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
This year's show had a little twist, though.
Oh, really?
It included vignettes from children whose relatives work in the White House. Should have been who still work in the White House. All 4 of them. Must have been shot back in November or something, huh?
Probably.
Do you get the impression that now I'm gloating over all this?
Yeah.
Well, bingo, bucko. Issue 2. Not letting up on them. This may be an oxymoron, but anti-crime message from Bill Clinton? Have you caught the new public service spot?
No.
The president as crime fighter in a new series of TV spots, including one in which you see him sidle up behind this teenage girl and slide his hands under her shoulders.
Uh-oh.
And I'm thinking, I don't know who came up with this concept, but maybe Gergen's on our side after all. I mean, Bubber dropping those mitts of his on some young babe? I started hunting around on my TV to see where I was supposed to drop the quarter in, for crying out loud. Issue 3. Very quick closing note for our extraordinarily skilled Secretary of State, Warren Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
Nice work on the China trip, Chris. What the hell? We don't need to have a relationship with a country that has 23% of the world's population anyway. Maybe you should have tried the old frying skillet on the head, chopsticks in the ears, thick glasses, and Halloween coolie teeth bit. Always worked for Jerry Lewis. Somebody please stop this moron before he alienates the entire planet. And that's the world through a dick's eye, J.D.
Yeah.
The trouser scope of Richard Nixon, who opened the door to China in 72, only to have this buffoon slam it shut in 94, to the chagrin of a former president of the United States.
Daniel Day-Lewis, who should win, but won't. He should win. He should. He's the best. Okay. How about Lawrence Fishburne and What's Love Got Tina Turner thing? No way. No. Nobody wants to reward anybody associated with Ike Turner.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
The show to be hosted by Whoopi Goldberg, who says she, for one, is rooting for Mr. Spielberg.
The greatest. You know, I'm eternally, forever in my career grateful to him. Grateful, like you can't even understand. He's the greatest.
This is going to be an electrifying evening.
Yeah, she's already pumped. You can hear it. I mean, and she's so incredibly articulate. That's the, it's going to. I mean, it's like you can't even understand. Exactly. That's exactly right. I can't. No one wants us to understand. I can't understand it. I can't understand it.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
So you're shopping.
9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Hey, butthead, look, it's that singing nun chick.
She's cool. Dominique.
No, not that singing nun, the other one. You know, the sister, Whoopi Cushion.
Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopee cushions are like those things that make a sound like a fart.
I once heard her fart.
Shut up before I kick your ass.
I bet you she says the F word like Bono.
She's got those cool dreadlocks like Lenny Kravitz.
How come, like, all these black people with Jewish names have, like, that kind of hairdo?
It must be because they're like orthopedic. You know, like those dudes with those hats.
Whatever happened to that little dude who used to host the Oscars?
I don't know. I think maybe that Jack Palance dude kicked his butt for making fun of him.
Yeah.
Whoopi is like cold doping to the strength.
Yeah. She kicks it old school.
She's dumb large. She's stupid fresh.
She's stupid dumb. She's a large dope.
You're a dope.
Where's Springsteen?
He's not supposed to come on until it's time for people to, like, get up and, like, take a dump. It'll be...
Tramps like us live in Philadelphia.
I'm Imus in the morning. We'll talk to Senator Christopher Dodd here in a minute or so.
Imus in the morning.
What are the economic end tonight? Knicks and Bulls, 7:35 free, 8 o'clock start. Knicks put their streak on the line against the Bulls, who have kind of righted their ship, too. So an hour to go on a Tuesday. Stay with us right here on the Fan.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
On the Fan. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Here in New York City, tomorrow night at the Irving Plaza. And we have a winner, Clint, from someplace in Texas. Good morning, Clint.
Yeah. Did I win?
Oh, Fred, you idiot.
Did I win them Delbert tickets?
No, you didn't win them.
I want to see Delbert. I want to see him so I can work on my car because he sure as hell can't sing.
Shut up. You're not eligible to win the tickets, Fred.
Bernie said I won.
No, Bernie lied.
You chump.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
How about jury duty go?
Well,
That must have been a unique experience for you, huh?
why?
Being on the jury instead of facing one.
Imus in the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN.
Clear skies, and that's what's happening. This is Iron Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Good evening, 604. Bill Daughtry on the Fan at 718-937-6666. Now, I purposely detained you, Iron. That's right. You're here. You know why? You know what this is about?
I have no idea what this is about whatsoever.
I was listening on Marvelous Radio Station about 2:30 this afternoon, and my character was questioned regarding my actions on the basketball court.
Your character was
yes,
questioned?
just a little bit. You did very accurately the defensive star last night.
Let me think. I wasn't a defensive star.
Oh, yes, you were.
Who do we classify Bill Daughtry as on the court? And you've obviously seen him playing all night. You've scattered him a little bit.
Yesterday was actually the first time I ever saw him play, Chris. You played with him a number of times.
I have, and I haven't seen much. I guarantee you that.
So why don't you give us a player that you're thinking of?
You know, give a guy one game. I've seen him once for 20
Does Corey Gaines ring a bell?
I'll take it. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But Chris was outstanding last night. We do have to give him credit.
But I think, Bill, it was a very strange sequence, and Bill called the timeout, as Ian said, when Livingston's high school ball club had the basketball.
They had the ball.
In a big spot, and Dave Jennings says, who is very competitive. Dave thinks he's, it's the 678 Giants again.
Yeah.
That's the Eagles. But I mean, Dave says, Bill, what are you doing? Dope, get back out here and stop calling the timeout.
The guy's killing me here. He's going out of his way. And I said, this is a nice little charity game.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN, New York.
Bill Daughtry on the Fan at 718-937-6666. A pleasant exchange between the two. Mr. Metzenbaum being on the offensive. You see, he's the guy who's going to be running that committee to knock out baseball's antitrust exemption. Get ready. The winds of change in your national pastime are coming. But first, Vince DeLisi is coming with The Flash at 7 on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Well, that's what's happening. I'm Vince DeLisi with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness. Lines.
Good evening once again. It's 7:05. Keep the car pointed straight. Pay attention to the guy in front of you. There go the brake lights. Slow down. That's better. Bill Daughtry with you on the Fan at 718-937-6666. Helping you through that commute and getting you up to the pregame show tonight here on the Fan. Knicks and Chicago Bulls. 7:35 pregame, 8:05 tip. Followed by here on the Fan, the Rangers in Calgary. We will join them in progress tonight, right here on the Fan. As they're going against the Flames out in Calgary. Be interesting to see what Stephane Matteau does. As we have mentioned a few times, he used to be the top prospect in the Flames system. He was in the minors the year that they won the Stanley Cup, came to the team the next year. Didn't do much, hasn't done much on subsequent visits to his old team, but he's a Ranger now. Keep an eye out for him. Brian Noonan, Craig McTavish, and Glenn Anderson. Our thanks to Sweeney Murdy, Don Shula, Dove Kramer, and Lisa Johnson, and you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
You'd like to read.
When the knickerbockers tick, I feel good, when the I-man's really sick, so good, when his lung collapse, New Jersey Nets also won.
What the hell what is wrong with you?
Want to branch out?
Yeah, but I mean,
Tell me that wasn't good.
No, it wasn't.
Look at me straight in the eye and tell me that wasn't
Play
good.
it back, Lou.
No, please don't do that.
No, go ahead and continue, and he'll wind it back, and we'll play it back.
Judge for yourself.
You judge for yourself whether it's any good.
New Jersey Nets also won, defeated the LA Clippers 105-102 at the Meadowlands. That reminds me of a song.
Please do not sing.
I feel good, when the knickerbockers tick, I feel good, when the I-man's really sick, so good, when his lung collapse,
That was terrific. That was kind of catchy. Yeah, the lyrics were good anyway.
Please continue. Also from the NBA last night, our Denver Nuggets won, beat the Milwaukee Bucks 108-94. Our Cleveland Cavs won, defeated Indiana.
So the New York Times is leaving that position to write on the op-ed page of the New York Times now. And you're going to give me $10 if I will say, well, Frank, when you get to thinking about it, life is really theater, isn't it? And all the world's the stage.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Here now, the theater critic of the New York Times, Frank Rich. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Now you're going to write on the op-ed page of the Times.
Right.
That's a big move, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of exciting, a little bit scary at the same time. But also I looked around and I decided, all the world's a stage.
Thank you, Frank. You just saved me $10. Life really is theater, isn't it?
It really is. And the men and women, they're merely players, I think.
In the morning.
6:42 now, New York.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right, here are some folks you'll read about in today's New York Times. In Providence, for some inexplicable reason, with my friend Scott Muni.
Scotzo here with you, and the madness has begun. The madness has begun. March Madness, college hoops, the Final Four. The sporting event created specifically to bridge the athletic gap between the Super Bowl and opening day of baseball season. And what a bang-up job CBS is doing this year, giving you the best coverage of all the matchups during the first and second rounds. Nothing I like better than watching 2-minute segments of 15 games going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
Pop your picture-in-picture on, and at any one time, you'll have about 50 college pituitary cases on your screen, all knocking themselves out, not to win the Final Four, to impress the pro scouts with how great they are as individual players. It's worse than a gypsy dance audition for a road company at chorus line. Every jump shot and head fake seems to scream, "Look at me, I'm a shoe endorsement waiting to happen."
Yeah.
Still, it's one of my most favorite athletic events next to midget roller derby. I love to hear Pat O'Brien. And at center, Umbutu Kombite, a freshman psychology major from Zimbabwe. Yeah, like he just matriculated from Mumbatumba Community College. Like nobody went to his village and bartered for his services by offering medical supplies in a Jeep.
Yeah.
It's very unfair. I mean, what an adjustment. First time he plays a game, he ends up chasing a mascot around the court with a blowgun.
Shut up.
Personally, I find the male cheerleaders a little distracting, although they are the most necessary element in the human pyramid. Not a bad gig, huh? Wear sweats and get to hold babes over your head. Not that it's all that easy. Balance is so important. One false move and the arm goes right up the short skirt, and all of a sudden, Buffy's a hand puppet with pom-poms. I'm not quite sure what the dad of a typical male cheerleader thinks. I mean, they got the game on down at the gin mill. He points to the TV and says, "That's my kid, the one with the megaphone." Ooh, what happened? He get cut from the equipment managing squad? Although that scenario's got to be a hell of a lot better than the one featuring the parents and a mascot. Can you imagine that? $10,000 a semester for juniors' tuition, and he's the one center court wearing the duck head. Mom, Dad, you both must be very proud.
Feel comfortable responding in that area.
My point is, what's the situation? I'm not suggesting that you should have sex without a condom. My point is, why bother? By the time you get it on.
Yeah.
Thing is, you need to get an erection first.
Shut up. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
What? To really be safe, you should put on the lambskin condom first.
Yeah.
And then over that, well, you know, what's the, really, what is the point?
A traffic cone over there.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Till I started looking for mine.
Imus in the morning. Right in the mad dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's like in the mad dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em. Mike is the mad dog, WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Mike and the Mad Dog got a fan on a Wednesday here in New York, 23rd day of March, 1994. Nice to have you aboard. Dove Kramer, Bob Gelb, across right, following Mets exhibition against Atlanta at 718-937-6666. Obviously, 2 hours and 12 minutes late, but you do get us for an extra hour tonight until 7 o'clock as you talk about the world of sports. And a lot going on. All the NCAA, Magic Johnson, Knicks, Bulls, whatever is on your mind. Good afternoon, Michael. How are you?
How about 3 hours and 12 minutes late?
What did I say, 2 hours and 12 minutes? You're right. 3 hours. And I'm thinking of the old 2 to 7 shift because we're going to 7, Mike. You're right. 3 hours and 12 minutes. But,
is here with us this morning. Dr. Whitkin had an article in this past Sunday's edition of Parade magazine. It was entitled 10 Things About Sex You Do Not Have to Worry About, and essentially it was directed at people about our age. And that is, if you're 50 years old and you're in hideous shape, for example, if you're Charles Kuralt, who's 59, who is in the most hideous shape of any human being on the planet. Yeah, I bet Charles Kuralt can't even have sex. It would be like moving a whale around a pond with a pole, just got to get him into position there.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
And Rob Bartlett's on the phone, the aforementioned fattest person at the radio station. Good morning, Rob.
Fattest person at the radio station?
Yeah.
You do not deserve to live.
Why don't I deserve to live? Because I just made an accurate observation. First of all, I bought you a treadmill, didn't I?
Yes. I use it every day.
To hang clothes on?
No. Sharon puts the breakfast down at one end and it comes right to me.
In the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good evening at 6 o'clock. This is John Minko.
Beginning at 1. Don't forget, you got a Ranger-Edmonton game tonight. And that is at 9:30. And you have the Mike Show, which you're going to hear at 7 this evening live with Billy Packer. Daughtry coming up at the top. Good job, Joe Kramer, Bob Gelb. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Wednesday on the Fan of Looney. Adios.
WFAN pregame at 9:05. The new look Rangers. Mark Messier scheduled to play after missing 2 games with a bruised muscle. Craig McTavish returns to Edmonton. He was traded for Todd Marchand. Ace of Tiki Murray and Lula Shepard. Don't forget, 6:05 on Friday night. It's Friday Night Hoops. Bernard King, Dick Hoops Weiss from the Daily News, talking college basketball, pro basketball, you name it. We will cover it for you. Stay tuned. Bill Daughtry has the update, followed by the Rangers and the Oilers right here on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
This is Bernard. It's time now for John Cardinal O'Connor, who has graciously agreed to come over and move that tape. That's nice. Read the kind of welcome the I-Man back, and read the New York lotto numbers, I guess, or maybe the Powerball numbers. We don't know. But anyway, good morning, Cardinal O'Connor.
Good morning and God bless. How you feeling tonight, Mr. Mars?
Well, I don't feel that great.
Feel this, you schmuck you. The winning numbers of the New York State Lottery is as follows. Great night, Mr. Marder. While you were hospitalized, your staff was able to contact you by phone each day. Continue this stupid fiasco, Mr. Marder.
Well?
I'm sure by now they were hoping to contact you with a bloody Ouija board. You know what I mean, you buzzard-looking buffoon, you.
I don't think a buzzard-looking buffoon is what we're looking for here.
How'd the lung collapse, Mr. Marder?
I don't know.
Are you drunk putting on the nipple ring or some damn thing, Jesus? You're trying to be the Marlboro Man and Jack LaLanne all in one, you twisted fool, you.
Well,
how do we know it's not really AIDS you're suffering from, Jesus?
I think we're pretty sure it's not.
In all fairness, McCarty, he doesn't look like an AIDS victim.
No, he doesn't.
You look more like an old woman with osteoporosis. The Daily Number. The hell is the Daily Number?
What is it?
The Daily Number, 593. What a speculation, Mr. Mars.
Yeah.
About whether or not young John F. Kennedy Jr. and sex partner Daryl Hannah have gotten married.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Like young Kennedy, Mr. Mars. Didn't you used to have sex with someone named Daryl? If you were on all fours in a Harlem bathhouse with this guy,
Now, we just don't need to pursue this.
Dark meat licking dorky of the Jesus.
That'll be fine.
The win for number. I tell you what's wrong with race relations in this country, Mr. Mars.
Oh, good. I hope you're clear.
Hollywood. Listen to this, McCard. They're thinking of making Eddie Murphy the next 007 James Bond.
Really?
Can you believe that? If all the blasphemous things make you sick. What's next? Whoopi Goldberg as Pussy Galore, Jesus?
Oh, come on.
One look at her and most men say pussy no more. I tell you that.
That would be fine. I mean, Cardinal O'Connor, we just don't need to get into all
How about
of
some
this.
realistic projects for colored actors these days?
That'll be, let's just not even pursue
Not
this.
subjecting these poor people to ridicule, portraying them as violent malcontents. Maybe a remake of Porgy and Bess. Or the life story of Rochester from the Jack Benny Show, bejesus. No justice, no peace. The Big Ten numbers is as follows.
What the hell is happening?
Let me address these remarks to that arrogant pumpkin with a fat arse in the White House, Mr. Marr. And her husband can listen up as well. The problem with healthcare in this country is as follows. There's a colossal waste of funds and bed space, attempting to reconstruct aging drunkards, drug abusers, and sexual deviants in the winters of their lives, while children are dying. First it's a lung, then it's a liver, then it's a tedious, protracted, and expensive bout with AIDS. We must cut our losses, nip it in the bud, and I say in these cases, implement euthanasia, bejesus.
What are you talking about?
Which leads us to this week's prayer, Mr. Marr.
All right.
Eileen, Breen, Lewin, McCord. The response to each prayer is, "Oh Lord, take him now." Oh Lord, we pray for peace in the Middle East, because we're sick of hearing about it.
You gotta speak up just a little bit, Cardinal.
Shut up. I'll come in there and dance on your pigeon chest, boy. Oh Lord, we pray for peace in the Middle East, because we're sick of hearing about it.
Oh Lord, take him now.
Oh Lord, we pray that actor Tom Arnold becomes a wife beater.
Oh Lord, take him now.
We pray that Mayor Dinkins hits the lottery so he doesn't have to move back to their projects when he loses the election.
Oh Lord, take him now.
We pray that if Michael Jackson is guilty, he has to perform oral sex on Whoopi Goldberg. Let's hear it.
Lord, take him now.
We pray that nice fella and former altar boy, current howdy-doody looking doofus Mike Breen, gets a network gig so he can quit Imus Namar.
Oh Lord, take him now.
And finally, we pray that Imus Namar begins syndication in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Chicago, all on the same day, and that, on that day, both these lungs collapse and he asphyxiates.
Oh Lord, take him now.
God bless us and save us. Have a lovely day, the whole lot of you. The pick their numbers is as follows. 1, 6, 11, 14, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 33. By the way, Eileen.
Obviously, I was trying.
Euthanasia is not an Oriental children's movement.
That will be fine.
33, 35, 38, 49, 41, 43, 44, 47, 58, 59, 60.
John Cardinal O'Connor here on the Imus Morning
Ask you
program.
this, Mr. Marr.
Sure.
What'd you call a movie about Eileen Marchese, her sister, and 3 of their friends?
Well, I don't know.
About 5 easy pieces, we did. Which doesn't belong in why?
All right, which doesn't belong in
Which doesn't belong in why?
All right.
Eh? Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Eh? Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
See? Mr. Lamar. Which doesn't belong in why?
Well, clearly, Imus Morning doesn't
Wrong
belong.
scrotum face. Well, all 3 are nerdy, paranoid, narrow-shouldered reprobates in the public eye, who all secretly masturbate to the little rascals.
Oh, come on.
The answer is A. Michael Jackson doesn't belong because, unlike the other 2, Michael Jackson is not a Jew.
God almighty.
That is McCarthy, Jesus.
Don't blame that dribble on
Leave him
McCord.
hanging out there like a black man in the old selfie, Jesus.
It was set on the greatest day they have ever.
And Highway Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
All right, here now, Media Watch, a digital examination of the seat of American journalism.
A buncular old wordsmith is quite enough. Thank you and good night.
Imus in the morning.
6:56 now, 4 minutes till 7 o'clock. This best of Imus in the morning, basically because the I-Man is ill in a little bit, decided the wisest course of action would be to sleep in a little while today, so that is what he is going to do.
George Steppen Fetchalot.
What's he doing?
I don't know. I think he's saying he's innocent.
Innocent of what?
He's trying to say it wasn't his idea to have Barbara Streisand sing at the presidential gala.
What is this?
I don't know. Looks like a bunch of old dudes who, never quit the debate club.
Debate club geeks suck.
Yeah. Resolve. George Steppen Fetchalot is a wuss.
Resolve. Bill Clinton is the Burger King.
And his brother George is really the dude from Funkadelic.
Yeah. I got one. Resolve. Hillary Clinton has a big butt.
That's probably why they call this thing Wide Loader.
Hey, is that dude with the orange hair gonna be on this thing?
I hope so. He's cool. He looks like that mummy in the Alice in Chains video.
Yeah. And he, got Arsenio Hall's sister Anita to say that, the Supreme Court dude put pubes on her Coke can.
That's cool.
Is Chelsea gonna testify?
I don't know. But I sure hope the Gore chicks will be doing a little number for us.
I want to put a pube on their Coke can.
That's cool.
Imus in the morning, news time is probably around 7:06. Hi, Charles.
Good morning, I-Man.
I'm sick as, you know, Fred was sick as two dogs.
Yes, I do.
I'm sick as the McGuire sisters.
Got the three-dog flu?
Yeah. I'm sick as the Lennon sisters.
Oh, man. 17 minutes after 7 o'clock. All right, here now a special commentary from the senior senator from the state of Massachusetts, Edward M. Kennedy.
Thank you. I've asked for this broadcast time today for a couple of reasons. One, because I am increasingly concerned about the well-being of the presidency of my friend Bill Clinton. And two, because as a scion of the Kennedys, I'm an individual of unconscionable wealth and can do pretty much as I want, when I want, and to whom I want. Now, I realize I am putting myself at some political risk in addressing my subject today, but we Kennedys have never flinched from possible peril. Therefore, while it may displease the president, I must call into question the wisdom of a plan drafted by the White House staff and just made public, urging that Bill Clinton lead a national mobilization for sexual abstinence. I don't enjoy my role today, but I am morally compelled to poke a hole in this trial condom, if I may characterize it thus. In the perception of the broader populace, Bill Clinton and sexual abstinence are mutually exclusive terms, much like, I readily admit in the interest of candor, Chris Dodd and sexual abstinence, or Teddy Kennedy and temperance. The White House strategy envisions a number of talks by Mr. Clinton during which he would speak to young people about sexual conduct and impulse control. Let me say this about that. I admire the president as much as anybody, but is this a message that is properly advanced by an individual who, as a lad, carpeted the bed of his El Camino with AstroTurf? I think not. To use an unfortunate analogy, given other matters concerning the White House, it would be a little like having Richard Nixon deliver a seminar on how to burglar-proof your apartment, or Abdul Khalid Muhammad lead the horror at a Schindler's List cast party. No, we Democrats should be wise enough to leave the core value issues, virtue, probity, moral rectitude, where they have always been, with the Republicans. That may not have come out precisely as I had intended. Be that as it may, a brief aside to the host of this radio program. Regardless of how you may persist in your effort, you are not going to suck either Senator Dodd or my friend John Kerry into making a career-imploding statement on your show. Neither knows where the bimbos are buried. I ask instead, Imus, that we suppress our differences and work toward conciliation. Right. That you and I lay our mutual interests. Let me rephrase the thought. That we come together, you and I. No. Let's just move forward. Good idea. Insofar as President Clinton becoming an advocate for abstinence is concerned, let the word go forth from this time and place that I shan't try to become the nation's spokesman for seatbelt compliance if Bill Clinton declines the invitation to become America's neutering nabob of Eros Dinan. Because, you believe me, neither will wash. Oh, a water reference. Go ahead, Imus, you bastard.
According to the New York Post, I-Man, Tonya seems to want to play casting director. As the television networks and major studios, all line up in a race to put the Nancy Kerrigan soap opera on film, Tonya Harding says she wants actress Meg Ryan to play her. And at least...
How about Louis Anderson? Ruth Fuzzy.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Wouldn't Roseanne Arnold be perfect in this role?
Yeah.
The one.
She-devil.
Gilbert Gottfried as as Gil Lilly.
And Mike Francesa as
and Mike Francesa as Sean Eckert, yeah.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
So what do you think?
With Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
Here come the Rangers.
Imus in the morning, flashback.
Hello, this is Clarence Thomas. You'd never...
Start a three-game road. WFAN, your radio home for March Madness. Good evening, 6:05 in New York.
York, New York. Bill Daughtry with you on the fan at 718-937-6666. The day before you start your weekend. Yes, it is Thursday, March 24th. Another round of March Madness coming up tonight. College basketball, friends. Number 1 and 2 seeds in the Southeast region. They'll be in action tonight. Purdue against Kansas, Duke against Marquette, Arizona against Louisville, Missouri, Syracuse in the West. Bill Daughtry at 718 here. Stand by. Bob Husler has your flash at 7 on the fan. Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
For sudden infant death syndrome, call 800-221-SIDS and stop smoking around the baby. Here's Bob Husler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home for March Madness.
It's 7:05 on the fan. Bill Daughtry with you at 718-937-6666, carrying you right on up to Nick pregame time. John Minko having his postgame meal as we speak. Nick's going against Minnesota tonight at Target Center. Minko's with pregame at 7:35. Tip-off at 8 o'clock. That will be followed by NCAA basketball. Southeast Regional quarterfinals, semifinals, that is, and West Regional semifinals all on.
Felipe Lopez. Do you know who Felipe Lopez is? The number 1.
By Gardner.
He's a little
bodega there. The guy fills in for France. Hey, Felipe, can you swim?
What happened? If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Felipe announced officially last night that he's going to St. John's.
How tall is he?
Listens to the Imus. 6'6".
He's a forward?
Yeah, how can I know?
Swingman. Well, what does that mean? He plays for Penny Goodman? Or?
Sports Radio 66. You ain't seen nothing yet. The plaza is one place you'll find what you see is what you get.
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports.
Well, Mike Breen is on the road with the Knicks. Pat O'Brien from CBS Sports is supposed to be here doing sports.
CBS.
Back in Greensboro Coliseum with the real star of Campbell University, this is Gaylord, the team mascot. Gaylord, what do you think of the Duke Blue Devils? Oh, Gaylord, that's no way to act. Is it true if you were to transfer to South Bend, you'd be the humpback of Notre Dame? Back to you, Mel.
Oh, Leslie.
What's the
Program for Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
Liberalism, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Free Enterprise. Its 4-year mission to seek out new scandals, to discover improprieties, to unearth hidden Clintonian agendas, to, and you should excuse the split infinitive, to boldly go where no fat conservative has ever gone before. Rush date 394. Received a transmission on the viewing screen from Earth, a small aqueous blue planet which is in Limbaugh synchronous orbit around me. Mr. Sununu, identify. Captain, it appears to be an alien ritual known as a press conference. And I thought Janet Reno just told the Senate Appropriations Committee that the networks were making progress in curbing the violence shown on television. This is barbaric. Witnessing this corpulent commander-in-chief tap dance to the media's music is like watching a precocious 9-year-old burn ants with a magnifying glass. And yet, I think some of them are actually being hypnotized by this insidious rhetoric. Mr. Ailes, set photon torpedoes. Aim for the Klingon, the one they call Hillary. Beaming down from the conservative cosmos, I am Captain Quirk, Rush Limbaugh, reminding you that if Bubba the Hunt refuses to address the situation there in North Korea, take matters into your own hands and blow up the local fruit stand. Sooner or later, they'll get the idea. Diddle it, diddle it, diddle it, diddle it, diddle it, diddle it. Time for another Afro-American feminazi animal rights update.
Rush.
The Afro-Americans, the NBA. The feminazis and animal rights represented by Madonna. It appears that the Material Girl would prefer to be known as the Mandingo Girl. As she has made it known, she's in the market to purchase an NBA franchise. She's most interested in the champion Chicago Bulls. What would she do with them, you ask? A little 5-on-1? A slam dunk competition? In light of her less than pristine reputation, one would think perhaps a game of horse. That's okay enough. And finally, in the wake of Tom Hanks' moving acceptance speech at the Academy Awards the other night, although I believe upon hearing it what moved on me was my bowels, I wish to dispel the rumor that I am insensitive to the plight of AIDS. So, flying in the face of General Elder's Bleeding Hearts Club Band, this is Rush Limbaugh with an AIDS awareness tip. The best way to avoid contracting HIV, the virus that causes acquired immune deficiency syndrome, is don't stick your in somebody else's More after this.
That will be a time. Do my impression of Robert W. Morgan now. Try to talk this up. Rush, K-Earth, L.A.
Imagine there's no Clinton. It's easy if you try. No more Hillary Rodham. She choked on humble pie. Imagine Bill and Hillary being led away in chains. Imagine an impeachment. It isn't hard to do. No more feminazis in the cabinet. Or homosexual Jews. Imagine Janet Reno bursting into flames. You may say, make it at home, 'cause I'm not the only one. Someday we'll get rid of all the liberals, and then we shall overcome. Imagine no more health care. I wonder if you can. No more blacks on welfare. Whitewater broke the dam. Imagine all the Negroes looking for a job. You may say, Rush, you're a genius. Well, you're not the only one. Someday we'll get rid of all the liberals, and then we shall overcome.
Rush Limbaugh here on the Imus in the Morning program. It is 60 minutes till the hour here in New York. That would be 7 o'clock. Pat O'Brien from CBS Sports is here. We're very happy that he...
Handsome man.
Yeah, he is a handsome man.
By the way, who taught John Lennon how to play the harmonica?
Delbert McClellan.
Very good.
Yeah, I may know what time it is.
Sure, come on.
Bruce Chanel, when he had a hit with Hey Baby, and I got to go to England with him in '62. The Beatles were the opening act on some of the shows. We palled around with those guys, and John said, show me something on the harp. People say that that's what you hear on Love Me Do. I'm not going to argue with that.